Many view the later seasons of life as a time of retreat, a gentle fading. Yet, I have observed there are pathways of thinking and being that can lead one toward profound suffering in their final chapters. Embracing even a few of these can cast a shadow over what could be a time of deep wisdom. Let us walk through this together, for the final insight is a truly transformative one, a quiet dimming. When we observe the world with awareness, we sometimes see something that brings a sense of deep sorrow. We see human spirits who have navigated the long river of life, gathered immense experience, and stood firm in many storms. Yet, in their later years, they seem to inhabit a space of profound stillness, as if the life force within them has become dormant. They breathe, but the light in their spirit seems to flicker. They are present, but their inner world is not expanding. And the most profound truth is that this quiet fading is not a destiny. It is a direction chosen, step by step, through habits that disconnect the spirit from its source. The first pathway that can cloud our later years is the carrying of old grievances. I have seen countless souls whose inner landscapes have become gardens of sorrows, where they carefully water old hurts and bitter memories. Their attention is drawn again and again to perceived wrongs from decades ago, to how others fell short, to how circumstances seemed unjust. This story of injury can become a core part of their being, the main source of their inner conversation. But holding on to these grievances is like holding a hot coal, hoping the other person gets burned. Each day you choose to replay an old wound. You are choosing to anchor yourself in the past. You give your energy to moments that are gone, to situations that no longer exist, to a pain that has no purpose other than to disrupt your present peace. Those who carry this weight often find themselves in conflict, wondering why connection fades and their final years feel steeped in loneliness. This pattern can diminish the spirit more than any physical ailment. The body ages, but it is often the spirit that withdraws first, burdened by what it refuses to release. When you cling to old hurts, you are not affecting those who caused them. You are reshaping your own reality, moment by moment. You are choosing the landscape of past pain over the possibility of new growth. You are allowing memories to overshadow the potential of your remaining time. The path to freedom is not to pretend the hurt never occurred. It is to understand that releasing it is a gift to yourself. It is about reclaiming your peace. It is choosing the freedom of a flowing river over the stagnation of a dammed-up pool. A dangerous stillness. The second pathway that can lead to misery is the quiet, creeping tide of isolation. I have seen how people slowly step back from the river of life, from connection, from community. They may tell themselves they are embracing simplicity, but they are often building walls around a growing sense of emptiness. They might believe they need no one, that human connection is too demanding, that solitude is simpler. This withdrawal rarely happens all at once. It starts with small decisions, saying no to an invitation because it feels like too much effort, letting calls go unanswered because talk feels draining, stopping familiar activities because they bring reminders of younger, more energetic days. Each choice seems logical in isolation, but together they erect an invisible enclosure that blocks out not only difficulty but also warmth, care, and the vital energy that flows from genuine connection. I have witnessed elders go for long periods without a single meaningful conversation, with no one to share a quiet thought with, no one to notice if their spirit is low. They are surrounded by photographs of people who no longer call, in rooms filled with the echoes of relationships they no longer nurture, fading from the world long before their last breath. This state often grows from a seed of pride, disguised as a desire for independence. They wish not to be a burden, but what they may truly fear is the vulnerability of being human, of acknowledging the same need for belonging they have always had. So they may choose a quiet retreat over the gentle risk of reaching out. But we are beings of connection, like trees in a forest that thrive through an unseen network of roots. Those who age with grace understand this. They nurture their relationships. They stay rooted in their communities. They continue to share their presence. They know that giving and receiving care is not optional for the human spirit, it is our very soil. A hardening mind. The third pattern is to allow your mind to become like hardened soil, where new seeds of thought can no longer take root. I have encountered individuals who ceased to learn on the day they stopped working, who no longer sought mental challenges, spending their days in passive observation and feeling a deep sense of inner emptiness. Your mind is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it will lie fallow or become overgrown with the same old weeds of thought. When you stop offering it new seeds of information, new challenges, new perspectives, it begins to recycle old patterns and old limitations. You may become rigid in your views, unable to flow with change, and disconnected from the unfolding of life. I have observed people of great potential become pale versions of themselves because they adopted the belief that learning has an age limit. They cease to read challenging words, engage in expansive conversations, or explore new ideas. They decided they were too established in their ways to grow, too wary to contemplate anything new. And in doing so, their minds became small, comfortable rooms. The most vital elders I have met are those who remain students of life until their last day. They explore new interests, learn new skills, and engage with ideas that stretch their understanding. They know that a growing mind is not about age. It is about cultivating an attitude of curiosity. When you keep your mind active and open, you maintain a sense of wonder. You remain a part of the world's evolving conversation. You stay fully alive in every sense. A neglected vessel. The fourth pathway is to surrender your physical body to the forces of entropy without conscious care. I see many who treat their bodies like a worn-out coat, accepting stiffness, discomfort, and weakness as the unchangeable script of aging. They cease to move, to stretch, to care for their physical vessel, and then wonder why each day feels like a negotiation with their own form. Your body is not a separate entity. It is your sacred home in this life. It has carried you through decades, adapted to immense challenges, and held you through every experience. It deserves reverence and care, not resignation. The quiet truth is that much of what we call the inevitable decline of age is actually the harvest of our daily choices. The loss of mobility, the persistent aches, the lack of energy that many accept as their destiny. Much of this can be shifted, improved, or eased through gentle, consistent physical practice. I have seen those in their later years move with a flow and strength that surpasses people decades younger. The difference is often not found in their genes, but in their daily practice. They chose to keep their life force flowing through movement when it would have been easier to be still. They chose to honor their body as a temple deserving of care, not a burden to be endured. Physical vitality in later life is not about chasing the energy of your youth. It is about maintaining the simple ability to live with autonomy, to engage with your world, to serve from a place of strength, and to feel the quiet joy of being at peace in a body that is in harmony with your spirit, a forgotten purpose. The fifth pathway is the belief that retiring from work means retiring from meaningful contribution. I have witnessed individuals who poured their life force into decades of work, developing skills and gathering wisdom, only to set it all aside at a certain age defined by the world. They may tell themselves they have earned a life of pure leisure. But human beings are wired for meaning. We are beings who need to feel that our existence has a direction, that we have something to offer, that our life serves a current larger than our own personal comfort. When you abandon a sense of purpose, you risk abandoning the very energy that animates a fulfilling life. I have seen people who were once vibrant and accomplished become lost and unwell shortly after retirement because they no longer had a reason to rise, a challenge to meet, or a way to share their gifts. They thought they were seeking freedom from work, but they found freedom from meaning itself. The elders who flourish are those who know that their purpose simply transforms, it never truly disappears. They may not contribute in the same way, but they find new channels to serve, to teach, to create, to guide. They mentor the young, support causes that touch their heart, share their stories, or simply become a source of loving presence for their families and communities. Purpose is not found in a job title. It is a conscious choice to remain connected to the river of life, to keep growing, and to continue offering your unique presence to the world. Regardless of your chapter in life, a spiritual void, the sixth pathway is to face the great mystery of existence without any inner foundation, any sense of connection to a reality greater than the self. As the body changes, as external pleasures become more fleeting, and as you confront the undeniable truth of life's impermanence, you need an anchor deeper than worldly success to steady your spirit. I have met with many elders who spent their lives collecting things, titles, and experiences, only to find in their final chapters that none of these offer comfort in the face of life's profound questions. Who am I beyond my stories? What has been the meaning of this journey? What happens when this body is no longer animated? How do I meet this final transition without fear, without a deep inner life? These questions can feel like a great abyss. Those who have neglected their inner world may become consumed by fear, by attachment, by a frantic attempt to ignore the natural cycles of life and change. They cling to the past, to the material, to anything that distracts them from the quiet, powerful call of the spirit. But the elders who have cultivated inner wisdom, whether through quiet contemplation, spiritual practice, or simply a deep and honest reflection on life, approach their final years with a sense of wholeness and peace. They understand that they are a wave returning to the ocean, that their life has meaning woven into the great fabric of existence, and that what seems like an end is merely a transformation. Developing this inner life is not about a specific dogma. It is about cultivating the inner stillness that allows you to meet life's greatest changes with courage, wisdom, and grace. A depleted foundation. The seventh pathway is a lack of foresight that turns one's later years into a period of dependence and anxiety over material needs. I have seen people who had sufficient means throughout their lives arrive in their elder years in a state of deep financial stress because they never learned to consciously prepare for their future. Financial peace in one's later years is not about vast wealth. It is about having a stable foundation to maintain your dignity, autonomy, and simple comfort when you are no longer earning an income. It is about not being a source of constant worry for your children and not living in a state of fear about how you will meet your basic needs. The tragedy is that this kind of planning is not a great secret. It simply requires awareness and a gentle discipline, qualities that are often not encouraged in a world of instant wants. Many live for decades from moment to moment, acquiring things they don't truly need with resources they don't yet have, believing they will attend to the future later. But later always arrives, and when it does, the consequences of a lack of preparation become very real. The inner turmoil of financial worry affects everything: your health, your relationships, and your ability to be present for the time you have left. The elders who navigate this territory with grace almost always share one thing. They learned to live with conscious intention, to prepare for the changing seasons, and to build a stable ground for their future. They understood that while material things do not create happiness, a state of material security is essential for peace of mind. A final understanding, an eighth deviation from a peaceful path, is to see life's natural completion as an enemy, to be fought rather than as a profound and natural culmination of our journey. Our culture often teaches us to turn away from the thought of mortality, to fight against the current of time at all costs. But this resistance is what creates the very fear we seek to avoid. I have sat with many who are in their final transition, and I can share with you that those who experience the most turmoil are not those with the most physical discomfort. They are those whose spirits are not at peace with life's final and greatest change. They have spent so much energy looking away from this truth that when it can no longer be ignored, they meet it with profound resistance and a deep sense of incompletion. But the most profound insight, the one that truly transforms our final chapters, is this: aging is not about becoming a lesser version of who you were. It is the opportunity to become the most authentic version of yourself. It is the blossoming of everything you have learned, every experience you have carried, and all that you have become. It is your chance to embody the deepest wisdom of your soul. When you resist this natural unfolding, when you see your life's map on your face and see failure instead of journey, you miss the incredible beauty and strength that comes from having lived a full and complete life. The elders who radiate true peace are not those who appear the most youthful. They are the ones who wear their years like a garment of wisdom, who have allowed their experiences to become strength, and whose very presence speaks of a life fully lived.